Hey everybody, it's midnight. It's Friday. Uh busy weekend coming up. But we figured we'd do a little recap here of Thursday. You're looking at a perfect day when it comes to baseball. We'll talk about that, and we'll also talk about NBA because it's NBA playoff time. And we won't talk about hockey yet, but I'll have a video with my son this weekend, and we'll be going through the NHL bracket, which isn't really great information for sports bettors because hockey doesn't work very well. As much as I'd love the hockey algorithm to work great, it doesn't. But watching hockey is fun, which I'm watching right now on the TV behind this camera. I'm watching Colorado beat Edmonton as we get ready for the NHL playoffs. But let's talk about other sports because this is generally for those sports gamblers and people who would like to understand how to predict sporting outcomes with these numbers and these Excel algorithms. So we have a perfect day when it comes to baseball today. And it's not so much to write home about because all these teams were favorites and there were only four of them because there was a rain out. So even though it's a perfect day, it's only four games. It's not that much. And there's another thing here though. They're all favorites, but they're not huge favorites. And I can tell you a little bit about what's going on here. As you can see, the last few days, the videos have been getting a few more views than normal. And when one of these videos gets over 100 views, that's actually a lot. And you'd be like, Ken, 100 views, like YouTube's enormous. Like, why aren't you getting like tens of thousands of views? These videos are really technical, as you can tell. You're looking at a Microsoft Excel file. It's a huge turnoff for a lot of people that are just casual sports bettors and aren't really cared about digging into the weeds of all the statistics and programming and everything like that. It doesn't really have a mass appeal like that. But who does watch this are line makers, are people that have been with me for years that understand the value of these files. And also, I run into new people, and some people will watch a couple videos right away and they'll see what's going on. And when they start to get hot, then we'll have more people watching them. And people want to hear about picks of the day. When the picks of the day start winning every day, they'll start to get a little bit more traction. But what has been going on is when the algorithms get hot like this, and the odds makers are getting beat by them early in the season, which happened on Wednesday, like Oakland as an underdog winning. The algorithm had it kind of up top after I made some changes to the combo string that we were using. As soon as that starts to happen, the odds makers get concerned because they don't want to be losing to it frequently because people use it to wager with. And so it becomes difficult. So what I noticed today was look at this minus 106 and minus 103 coming out of Texas and out of Cleveland. Those are favored lines, but they're weird lines. Usually you see things that are minus 110 or worse. So why were these minus 106 and 103? And I believe it is because the algorithm picked them to win, and you can't, like, normally they would have been underdogs if the algorithm didn't pick them to win. So here you have, for example, see how Boston is minus 112? Boston is actually the favorite according to the odds makers. They have a worse line. Yet the Cleveland line doesn't go down to minus 110 like normal. It goes to minus 103. And that's because when it comes to the odds makers reporting to their bosses, essentially, and they said, did we lose to the algorithm today? How many underdogs did the algorithm have that beat us? They're going to say that this wasn't a loss for them because Cleveland wasn't an underdog line of better than plus 100. Neither was Texas. Texas, look at Texas, minus 106. And then you've got a minus 109 for Detroit, slightly favored. But the algorithm has it and Texas wins. So I found that amusing because I kind of understand what they're doing there. Is they're like, we can't have the algorithm beating us. We can't have the algorithm's underdogs winning. So we're just going to kind of not call them underdogs and take the VIG in a small enough increment so that it's still a minus line. Hilarious. But those are essentially two underdogs that won that the algorithm caught today. So when I look at this 4-0, it's actually a better day than you think. They won close games, but they still won. So yeah, I mean, baseball doing well. For example, your AAA pitcher on Texas, I guess, pitches okay, and they win a high scoring game 9-7. We did not do great on our runs today. Tampa Bay did not put up 10 runs. This was not a 9-4 game with Tampa Bay over the Angels. It was a 2-1 game. I didn't watch and pay attention. I didn't bet on any of these games. I was doing other stuff completely. Just looking at it now. It looks like San Francisco put 4 runs up in the bottom of the 8th and won this game 5-0. And Cleveland barely edges out Boston, just like the algorithm said they would. Crushed it. So it wins. So tomorrow there'll be a private video for baseball. I don't know what time games start, and I am busy in the morning again tomorrow, but I'll get this out to everybody who subscribed. Go purchase a copy of this. If this isn't the best $100 you can spend getting an email from me every day from now through April 30th, it's another 11 days. I mean, you couldn't make $100 on betting these 4 teams to win, putting them on a parlay even or a round robin. Yeah, you could have. I know you don't win every day, but you do amazing stuff with this. So anyway, baseball perfect. Good job, baseball. That's what happens when I spend time working on something every day. And that's why I don't do it every day throughout the summer, because it takes a lot of effort to get this, to do this. As you can see, I ran a bunch of macros over and over and over again and had to think about what was happening here with these distributions. And these distributions are going to change throughout the year, and you're not going to want to use combo string 488 when you're a couple of months or even more into the season, because the starting pitchers are going to have worked their arms a little bit more, and they're probably not going to go as long and as deep into these games. And it's different weather when it's hotter, and pitch counts get all screwed up, and you end up need to look at bullpen ERA more, and you need to, there's just so much more you need to do. You need to pay attention to it. And that's why I stop. I don't make enough wagering on this or charge enough to make this a full-time job. You want to hear a funny story? Actually, we'll go with the funny stories. So a few years ago, I got contacted by a guy who called himself Will Smith. It was a fake name, but he pretended like it wasn't. And he was from one of the sports books, which will remain unnamed. And he offered me a bunch of money to give him the rights to the algorithm and to promise, for me to promise not to do videos and not to release or provide this product to anyone other than the unnamed sports book, essentially. And I politely told him no, because I didn't want to ever tell anybody who contacts me for work that I've done. I mean, this is just the method by which I organize information and things make sense to me. I don't ever want to tell people I can't help them out or provide them with something they ask for, whether it be sports related or anything else. I've never sold the rights to my work to anyone else and signed some type of non-compete or non-disclosure that prevents me from answering anyone's questions, whoever asks me to do something. I'm allowed to do anything I want. I've never pigeonholed myself in that sense. So I didn't accept that offer. And the consequence of that is also that I don't make a ton of money off doing this. So when everyone asks me, why don't you do this the whole year? The answer is someone's got to pay me like $100,000 to spend every single day of the summer from April to October doing this every day. And even though somebody offered to do that, I didn't want to take it. So for what it's worth, I'm sorry. You can't, I teach you how to do this though. You can do this. You probably won't do it as good as I would do it, but you're going to do it well enough, provide enough videos to show you how to do that. So just understand that I don't recommend this as a career path for you. It's still sports betting. It's still gambling, but it's gambling with the kind of edge that you could only dream of. And that's why the odds makers use it. That's why the odds makers are, they are live in fear of the work that I do, that it makes them look stupid. So be it. Anyway, speaking of things that make the odds makers look stupid, let's go over to NBA. For all you who are loving baseball and how much baseball's winning, NBA is better. NBA basketball is a better sport to wager on. We have predictions for, I believe, what is more play-in games, I think, Friday night. I finally updated this first time in a while. I did sell an NBA algorithm, so it was time. There's also like a tournament. I think it's a bracket in NBA. That's just how little I know about NBA playoffs. I think it's a bracket. If it's a bracket, I'll set up a bracket file. I guess. I think there's play-in games and then a bracket, right? They don't do there's not 64 teams. It's not March Madness bracket, but it's a similar one. So these teams have to play in. It's the Heat against the Bulls. Both these teams have some injuries. I think, is it Jimmy Butler's out? Let's take a look at that. Who's out on the Heat? Yeah, I think so. I think Jimmy Butler is out. I think that something happened. Yep. Bye-bye knee. Yep. Jimmy Butler's out, and Terry Rozier's neck is bad. What, did he get into a car accident? I don't know what happened. So there are some significant injuries on Miami. There are also injuries on, let's take a look. There are also injuries on the Bulls. And so this is trouble. This is a trouble game, and I think you're going to look at probably an under in this game. I don't know what the over-under is set at. We can look. Let's look. The over-under for this game is set at 205, and we have point projections set at 222, but they're missing players. It is a tough game to play. I'd recommend staying away from this game because teams with injuries this in-depth means that it's a really difficult game to predict. I would recommend more looking at the Pelicans over Sacramento. They are healthier. They're at almost 90 or 89% health. They have an underdog line, and the margin is still almost 7%, which is actually a reasonable margin in NBA. So the one pick on Friday night is going to be the Pelicans. It's not a pick that wins. I mean, it's not a pick that wins 90% of the time, that's for sure. It probably wins 75% of the time the way the NBA algorithm goes, though. So I think you do win this pick, although 3 out of 4 sounds like a lot. But the NBA algorithm is really good. So it's not going to win every game, but it's an underdog line and it's worth it. So the Pelicans are the pick. This other game, too difficult to call. And I will set up something more for NBA, so you can purchase the NBA algorithm. It's only $25. It's cheaper. And learn how to update this one, which is a quicker process than updating baseball. So a lot quicker to update this one. And yeah, I mean it's worthy of following and betting, and you just got to keep track of the injury report all the time. It's really important. It's the most important factor here in the NBA. So that's your recap video. Private NBA, it's a private video for MLB in the morning on Friday, later this morning, I should say. It's already past midnight. And so go and purchase MLB here for the last stretch. I sold another one yesterday, and the sales have kind of slowed down, even though the algorithm's been winning. And I know it's because everyone's just expecting me to make a video public. Well, I got a lot of other stuff going on. I'm still not really betting very much. I didn't bet the farm on any of those picks of the day like I should have in baseball. And maybe there'll be some tomorrow. I don't even know yet, but I got to put in the effort and the time to do it. So if you want a copy of MLB and you do any significant wagering and you haven't purchased the algorithm yet, I'd recommend it because it's going to pay for itself and then some. And there's also the benefit of learning how I've done this. So yeah, it's a perfect day. It's the Pelicans on Friday. It's a bunch of baseball, I'm sure, that's happening on Friday as well. It's the hockey season that is ending tonight, and it's everything else. I'm playing hockey this weekend. There's a lot going on this weekend. I'm real busy. So, all right, good luck, everyone. I hope your picks won today. If you followed the algorithm's advice and caught the 2 underdogs that it hit today, you did well and you watched the algorithm. Have a perfect day for the first time this season. Even though it was only 4 games, it was still all wins. So good luck, everyone. May all of your picks be winning and enjoy everything because enjoy it. It's fun.